Texas elementary school teacher is no longer on the job after allegedly posting racist comments on social media, and school board members in California who oppose inclusive policies and curriculums might be able to be removed under a California bill. Joining us now to discuss all of that and more, Parents Defending Education's Director of Outreach, Erika Sanzi. Welcome, Erika.
Good morning.
So this situation regarding an elementary school teacher in Mesquite, Texas, who apparently referred to herself, according to the Dallas Morning News, as being a supremacist, has been removed from that position after she posted what people are describing as a racist social media rant toward white people. Can you talk to me about the efforts when you see situations like this to try and prevent this sort of racism, which can come from all corners of society, into the classroom?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine that there wouldn't have been red flags on this person's social media just based on sort of the behavior that we see that led to her dismissal. Again, it is hard enough to vet people for hiring, and you're never going to bat 1,000. But my suspicion is that they probably needed to look a little bit more deeply into this person's social media. And also, I think it's important to say, too, this is also just very attention-seeking behavior. So in addition to the, ugly racial side to what she had to say, it's also just behavior that is unbecoming of anybody who is a professional, and certainly anybody who is representing a school and working with young children.
And then what is your advice for parents if they think that their child is somehow around discrimination or being discriminated at school? Because certainly this isn't the only incident we're seeing.
Yeah, the first thing is to get all the information and all the facts. Somebody making an accusation doesn't mean that's what's happening. I would certainly recommend documenting exactly what's happening and making sure that you understand what's really going on. If it's just something that feels directed at one child, and you feel after looking at all the information that something really is wrong, I would certainly speak with the principal of the school. If what it is a program, so it's a school activity or program where they are including or excluding students solely based on their race, that's a different issue. And that's something that an organization like mine can help with. So again, if it's an individual case, I would certainly speak to the principal. If it's systemic and it's programming, I would consider, of course, complaining to the district or the school board, but also reaching out to an organization like mine.
All right, let's talk about school boards on a different level and shifting to California, where legislators may soon be allowed to remove school board members who oppose certain policies and curriculums. There's existing legislation out there that could be adapted, and among other things, it would set new guidelines for public school boards in California. Tell us more about this debate over inclusivity, and if you stand up to it or oppose it, what these board members may be subject to.
Yeah, the problem now is the word inclusivity and inclusion is basically being wielded as a weapon, and people are hiding behind the word inclusion when they're talking about things that are very controversial and certainly need to be up for debate. So, for example, if they've decided to eliminate the words male and female from the vocabulary used in lessons, if they're teaching gender identity to young children, if they're teaching children that when they're born, that their parents and the doctor guess their gender, but really it's up for them to decide, those would all fall under this inclusion umbrella. So the reason that this is so alarming is it's essentially saying, if you won the election, right, through the democratic process, but you're not willing to conform to the opinions and the policies and ideas that we think you must adhere to, then we can remove you from office. I think this is a very, very concerning. It is not going anywhere this year, which is a good thing, but the fact that it was filed is kind of a red flag.
Last thing for you, Erika, this debate that's going on in California, I'm guessing since you monitor this sort of activity, would you say it's completely widespread? Are you seeing it in districts all across the country, or is it limited to certain areas and states?
If you're speaking about this idea of removing school board members, that's sort of new to me. But if you're speaking about this problem of, hiding behind words like inclusion to really be pushing very, very controversial topics into schools, not just by way of maybe a health curriculum, but sort of making it so that it's everywhere in all classes, because the other thing people don't realize, parents can opt out often of certain things in the health curriculum, but they can't opt out of an English class. So when they begin to bring these concepts and topics and subjects into other disciplines, that's what makes where parents lose their rights to opt out. And we're seeing a lot of parental frustration, crowded school board meetings, lawsuits in places very far away from California, including in red and blue states.
Yeah. All right. Something to watch out for. Erika Sanzi, Director of Outreach for Parents Defending Education. Thanks for joining us here on the National Desk.
Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend.
You too.